I'm afraid sometimes we journalists are not a tremendously imaginative lot, and sometimes we find there are big themes that come through coverage of a certain story around the world. So if you think about the notion of our politicians asleep at the wheel, this has been a theme in American journalism about Donald Trump. It's been a theme in English journalism and British journalism about Boris Johnson. And now we have claims that Nicola Sturgeon is also not been going to these meetings, especially in that important month of February. And I think it's a really interesting but very hostile treatment in the Sunday Mail about this. It's an exclusive story by their political editor John Ferguson. The headline inside is that Boris Johnson rightly got pelters for missing 5 vitally important Cobra meetings, but the First Minister has outdone him on the negligence front. This is very strong language. I think we'll see politicians, including Mr Johnson, Mr Sturgeon, push back on this a lot, because this is not a narrative they want to get established.
It's interesting as well because it appears to be driven by the Labour MSP Neil Findlay, who's slamming Sturgeon's non-attendance, it says here. You have to wonder whether Scottish Labour's doing the Tories' job for them in this context. It's basically saying that Nicola Sturgeon, he is claiming that it seems the First Minister is only interested in attending Cobra if the Prime Minister is also going to be present. I don't know if any of us are terribly surprised at that. And instead, her seat was taken by Health Secretary Jean Freeman, Mental Health Minister Claire Hochy, and what they're describing as disgraced former Chief Medical Officer Dr. Catherine Calderwood. Interestingly, it strays into, what one might think of as some fairly sexist territory. It's saying that instead of attending Cobra meetings, the First Minister was playing netball with school children in Dundee, and a video was posted of her scoring a goal, to which she tweeted, "Thanks to all the young people for the netball lesson. Thankfully,
I should also say the Scottish Government has responded to this. We heard in the bulletin there, amongst other things that they say that she has been at the Scottish Resilience Committee meetings, which are the Scottish equivalent. So
yes, and I don't think anybody could accuse her of not working extremely hard through the pandemic.
Well, the use of the word skipped is very interesting, because that makes it sound as if she's some kind of truant. Not turning up for school. Yes. And they've used the word skip 3 or 4 times in the course of that entire article.
And then when you turn to the Sunday Times, you've got offers of their headline, the splash headline is offers of PPE, that's the protective gear, have been ignored as Scotland's virus death soared. And this one is an exclusive, it claims, and appears to be driven by Monica Lennon, health and sports spokeswoman for Scottish Labour, and also has comments from Miles Briggs, the Conservative MSP for Lothian. And it's saying that at least 6 firms who offered to provide life-saving personal protection equipment to the Scottish Government were, quotes, ignored as the coronavirus death toll mounted. A lot of quoting some words here that, in my lexicon as a journalist, would imply that you weren't necessarily trusting what you were hearing. But it quotes also an unnamed former high-ranking Scottish civil servant who was recently asked by an international PPE firm for assistance in their efforts to reach decision-makers, otherwise known to me as a lobbyist, saying that the government has had to ensure value for money and quality, but this all sounds a bit like asking a soldier to fill out a farm for more bullets in the middle of a battle. And basically it's complaints about what has been described as a slow and clunky procurement procedure, which will come as no news to a lot of us in Scotland who have always thought the procurement procedures were slow and clunky.